2 Chronicles chapter 13 from verse 3 to 9 describes two kings at war with their soldiers prepared for battle on both sides. Abijah, the king of Judah, in verse 6 to 9 explains how King Jeroboam and his people had rebelled against God and rather turned to idols as their gods and trusted in them. In verse 10, we see King Ahijah proclaim that he and his people still keep the commandments of God, but that the other has forsaken God. He went on to declare that God is with them as their captain. In verse 18, we'll see why the king of Judah and his soldiers had victory. He said, "Thus the children of Israel were brought under at that time, and the children of Judah prevailed because they relied upon the Lord God of their fathers." Reliance on God, that is what gave them the victory. That is what made them prevail. If any believer is to live a prevailing Christian life in this world, your complete reliance must be on God alone. Isaiah chapter 31 verse 1, it says, "Woe, woe unto they that go down to Egypt for help." Going down to Egypt for help in this case is like going back to bondage. Psalm 118 verse 8 to 9 advises us to do this instead. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 7. We should trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not unto our understanding. Our understanding as human beings are limited. What is going on in the spiritual surmounts what is going on that we are seeing in the physical. Imagine if Daniel did not trust God. Here are some other ways that you can rely on God. For a spouse, Genesis 24. 2. For the fruit of the womb, Genesis 25 verse 21, 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 14 to 17. For healing, read Mark chapter 5 and Matthew chapter 20. Supernatural supply, Luke 5 4 to 7. Deliverance, Mark 9 23 to 27. For revelation, Daniel chapter 2 verse 17 to 23 and 28 to 47. No one that put their trust in God completely is ever let down. That is why Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6 is very important. Try as much as possible to rely on God from today. In Jesus' mighty name.